Hello there, Robert Russell here from Mindset Synergy, www.mindsetsynergy, and Training Alliance Group, www.trainingalliancegroup.co.uk. Now, I want to talk today about the 2014 FIFA World Cup. And I want to look at two particular aspects of it, and that is the fact that the old guard, teams from Western Europe and from South America, have probably had their day. If you look back at the history of the World Cup, what you'll note is that it's only ever been won, the championship has only ever been won by Western Europe, including England, which is part of Western Europe, and South American sides. And I think this reign has come to an end. And it might even come to an end in this 2014 World Cup. It will be interesting to see who actually does win at the end of the day. But whether it occurs in 2014 or whether it occurs at the next or subsequent World Cups remains to be seen. But what I predict is that we are going to have an emergence and perhaps even a dominance of teams from Eastern Europe, from the Middle East, from Africa, from Asia, the Indian subcontinent as well, and also maybe even America itself, North America. And why I believe this is that these teams, or many of these teams from these countries, have always felt that they were lucky enough to simply get into the World Cup Championship, to qualify for that. And they've gone along with an attitude that it's great to be there, but let's give it all we've got. And we're not really expecting to win, and we're just going to go all out to do the very best we can. And other countries have often played defensive football as opposed to attacking football. And their approach is to play not to lose, as opposed to countries who play to win. And that's an interesting point of view, because if you play not to lose, then you are going to restrict the amount of goals you score. And I think your mindset starts to not be appropriate for the modern game, where we're starting to get these emerging nations playing in a different way. And in doing that, they're actually beginning to win and defeat stronger sides. So really, mindset is the name of the game. Mindset both in how you play, the actual way your mind is helping you play, but also mindset in terms of the tactic of your play. You know, what you are trying to achieve in any given match or game. So you've seen countries such as England and Spain, which this competition have tended to try and defend and try not to lose. And England's often played in this way in any case, and I've never thought this to be a good thing, but it's one of the approaches that we tend to have more than playing attacking football. Spain, well, how about this? My thought is that if they have come to this World Cup as competition winners in the previous World Cup, which they have, then their thoughts are, we've got to hang on to this. We've got to hang on to our position, and therefore they have played the matches here in 2014 not to lose. And they've been wiped clean by their opposition, their opponents. and so have England. So this really is something that needs to change. This aspect of mindset needs to change. More countries need to play to win, because those that are starting to play to win are beginning to win. Suddenly they go all out, they score a goal, and they think, wow, we can do this, we can score a goal. And a country such as England has played so heavily, so hard on the fact that it has tried to defend, and maybe it hasn't let in as many opportunities as it could have done, but it hasn't scored either. That England hasn't really scored. And this is what got me too with England when they played Italy in this World Cup. We come up towards the half-time mark and it's 1-1, and I could look round and I could see that England were playing to hold on to that draw up to the half-time mark. They did not want to concede. Well, that's right, you shouldn't want to concede, but neither did they play to go 2-1 up, and they should have done that. Equally, probably Italy were just as guilty. They maybe should have gone on to try to get 2-1 up, but I think they were trying a little bit more to do that than England. And so you come to half-time with both of them being 1-1, and then England are thinking, right, we'll start this and we'll just try and establish a position and not to give a goal away early in the second half. Then they did attack a little bit, then they started playing more attacking football. But I think in the back of their minds, because the psyche about playing for England is, don't lose, don't lose. So even when England try to play attacking football, they've still got this defensiveness in their mind. And I'll go on and explain in a little more detail about these sort of things in a later podcast. This is just a general overview. And I've noticed that sport commentators on TV are starting to talk about mindset. And they really haven't got a full grasp of it, because to me, when they talk about mindset, it's just about, well, an attitude and an approach. I mean, it's so much more than that. They don't seem to see that it is a very detailed thing, and that the smallest of thought patterns can make a huge difference. It's not a generalization, and it should be treated as something more serious. You go and ask the England players, how many of you have a personal one-on-one mindset coach? I don't know the answer, but if you go and ask them, I would be very unsurprised if not one of them did. Maybe one or two do, but I wouldn't be surprised if none of them had a mindset coach. And you think, how can you be at the top of your sport, be one of the major players for one of the major nations, and not utilize every single opportunity? It's a crying shame. You wouldn't go out and play football not being prepared on another level, i.e. throwing your nutrition to one side. It would be crazy. It would be crazy to go out and play football and not train properly. It would be crazy to go out and play football and not have run through many different tactical forms of play. It's also crazy to go out and play football without having appropriate mindset training. And yet this is exactly what countries like England seem to do. And the other thing is that scorelines are increasing. Why are scorelines increasing? I don't know what the statistics are for previous World Cups, but it seems to me that this World Cup has got increasing scorelines. And I made a prediction a little while ago on some tweets that scorelines would increase for this World Cup, but not only for this World Cup, they would go on to increase in the future. And again, this is a mindset thing. It's the emerging nations playing to win, and because they're playing to win, they will score more. And sure, they might give away a few more goals. But if they score more than they give away, and they're playing that way, then that's great. So my prediction is that scorelines will increase, and that is the reason why scorelines have started to increase. It's these emerging nations who have not so much to lose, who have a better approach, or maybe just a more natural approach than just not being too defensive. And let's look at this in another podcast in a little bit more detail. But mindset is key. mindset is king. Do not go out and play any sport seriously unless you're just enjoying it for fun at home as a social thing. If you are a professional sports person, if you take your sport seriously and you want to do the best you can and you need to do the best you can, then you do definitely need to have a mindset coach. And you could probably do no worse than start simply with reading something about it. I mean, I've got a book here. It's a very short book, I'll show you. It's called If You Think You Can, You Can. Hopefully you can see that. And what it is, it's a book with certain exercises that allow you to achieve absolutely any goal. That is the subtitle, How to Achieve Absolutely Any Goal. So it's not just about sport. If you want to lose weight, if you want to achieve targets at work, if you want to stop smoking, if you want to overcome this or that, then this book has a formulaic approach which will be different for each reader, because I lay down the formula, but each reader will apply a completely different aspect to this formula, which will be pertinent to them. And if you put that down, and if you follow everything in this book, I think it's pretty likely you're going to get where you want to. So even footballers or other sports people just adopting this will begin to succeed. As I say, it's a slim book. It's just got very relevant content. Lots of exercises in it. Let's have a look, and you can see lots of white space, of course, but places for you to fill in what you need to fill in. All this white space to add little notes where you need to, that are relevant to you doing what you want to do. And yes, please use it if you think it will help for sport or anything. It's available on my website if you want to, either of the two websites that I mentioned, the Mindset Synergy website or the Training Alliance Group website, as an ebook, as a hard book like this one, and also shortly I'll have it as an app. So mindset and sport, very important. Helps you to define how you're going to play, helps you increase your chances of success in playing, and it also will increase score lines, and is already doing so in terms of football or soccer. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you found this interesting. I'll try and go into a little bit more detail on these mindset issues in a coming podcast. Thank you. Robert Russell here, Mindset Synergy, Training Alliance Group.